happened, and this is where it gets really picky, and you have to be really, really, you have to listen to yourself really hard. And if it means taking your hands apart separately, that's a good thing to do. Something that you did not intend to do is this chord right here came out louder because I think you were imagining this note going to there, which is good.
Yeah.
But now, when you were trying to do that,
oh, gotcha. Yeah.
this got really loud, and then this got overshadowed by that. So you want to make a crescendo with this and still keep that low, which is really hard. But try that one more time, okay? With that, listening for that.
Oops. Sorry.
Close. Try one more time. Yes, you controlled it. Excellent. Okay, that was very good. Okay, so something that I want you to work on is taking apart the voicing, because that's the thing, that's the seller. If you have voicing down and that voicing is phrased, even when it's chords, even when the melody seems disjunct, that's what will grab your audience. That's what it really, and I think that will help your phrasing be longer too, because you'll start hearing that voice, and that's what you'll want to phrase, and the rest will kind of fall into place. But it takes that kind of taking apart the small sections like this, and listening for the inner voices, and hearing if they're overpowering, because after a while of playing it, you don't tend to hear everything anymore, because you're just used to the way you play. So for next week, I would like you to practice your right hand alone, and bring out the melody. And first I want you to phrase just the melody notes by themselves, like we did. And then I want you to add in the inner voices, and see if you can keep the same phrasing that you did when the melody was by itself with those inner voices. Okay. And let's look at something else quick before we're out of time.
Okay. Do you want to do my Polonaise or my Bach?
Ooh, whichever one you want to do.
It doesn't really matter to me.
Which one is, do you have a performance for any of them coming up? Is there one that you need to have learned before another? Yeah,
this one will be the recital in the spring, so.
Okay, let's do this one.
Okay. Do you want me to play through the whole thing? I mean, I'm still learning it, so it's definitely not like the other one, but.
Okay. Let's just do you know the first part better? Is there a section that you worked on more, or?
Actually, I've started memorizing the end first, because that's the harder part. So, I mean, this is easier, but I don't really know. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Do you want to start with the harder part, or just start from the beginning?
Well, let's take a look at the beginning.
Get
a sense of it, and then we might jump to the end. Okay.
Okay. I'll just play it slowly and.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever you're comfortable. Is that a good place to start?
It doesn't matter. That's like the first part I learned. I can keep going.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll work with this. Okay, so first, what is a Polonaise? Do you know Polonaise?
No.
Any guesses?
I guess
based on the style of
a dance, but
it's a good guess.
Okay.
A lot of titles you don't recognize for dances. No, but this is a Polish dance, which is why it sounds kind of like Polish Polonaise.
Okay.
And obviously it's stylized. You wouldn't dance necessarily to something like this because there's a lot of stylistic stuff in it and tempo fluctuation, which
Yeah.
doesn't make dancers that happy usually.
Yeah.
But in the spirit of a dance, what kind of character do you want to bring across with a dance?
Lively? I don't know.
Yeah. Something that makes you want to dance.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely spirited. And there are slow dances too, but this one you can tell just by the opening chords that it's something grandiose and it has movement, and that's something that's vital to all dances. If it ever seems to be languid and kind of lifeless, then it's lost the spirit of the dance. So in that spirit, you want the really sharp, crisp rhythms, which is good. So start from the beginning and take it whatever tempo you want. And the phrasing, I really liked what you're doing with the phrasing so far, and I know that it's still getting into your fingers, but think about the spirit of the dance and bringing out that top note and keeping the rhythms really crisp.
Okay, and I can go on too. Sorry, I stopped.
No, that's fine.
I can go on. I'll just have to take it like slow because then it does go to like a
it goes
change
into the
or whatever.
really technical stuff. No, that's fine.
Okay. So just start again from the
Yeah,
beginning.
and I'll stop you before you get to the other section. We'll just stick with what we've started with.
Oh, okay.
And now I want you to take a look at the left hand. And your left hand has some really interesting rhythmic and articulation differences from the right hand. What do you notice? It alternates between two different basic types of articulation.
Well, it does kind of like, I mean, it has like the phrase
Slur.
there, yeah, like the slur there, which I didn't really do.
No, that's great. You were pedaling it. That was good. That was
Okay.
excellent. And then, so we have the slurred articulation, and then we have
the separate and
staccato.
Staccato.
Yes.
Are both of them staccato?
No, I think
Okay.
that this one, but I think you want to keep it short, not connected, because if
Okay.
you connect it, it'll sound slurred.
Okay.
So it needs to be. But this one is the sharp
Okay.
one.
Yep.
This is the one that, you know, it's a jump, a springboard into the next
Okay.
thing, and that's this little staccato rhythm here, where it is in the measure on the third beat, is also going to propel you forward.
Okay.
So you really want to make sure that you bring out those staccatos every time you
Okay.
have that opportunity. So try just your left hand slowly with the pedal and try those articulations.
Okay.
Good, I'm going to stop you there. Some of them you made staccato, a couple of them you didn't. So now try it one more time. And this one, I would say that you can make this staccato too, because this is
Okay.
the end of a slur. Good, okay, so now I want you to exaggerate it. Pretend, for our purposes, that this is also staccato, okay? So you have staccato, 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 and slur, staccato, staccato, and slur, and slur.
What about the first note?
It's in the pedal, so it's going to sound
Okay.
slurred. Okay, yeah. Good, okay. And so now another thing that's going to give it a more dance-like drive is where you put the accents. So you want the pickups to really move into the downbeats. So starting from here. So this one, this E is important. Don't cheat it.
Okay.
Okay, because this is the one that's going to drive you into the next measure, okay?
Okay.
So, think of those pickups, especially when they're slurred. Da 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 yeah. Okay. Close. But I want your staccatos to be even sharper.
Okay.
Think of them as accented because you're loud. You're forte
Okay.
here. Yes, good. And I want even more on that E. And maybe when you put it all together, it'll be too much, but for now, it'll give you the rhythmic pulse, okay? So do it again. Yes. And when you put your right hand together with it, it'll just help it along, because here you have this jump up to the F, that appoggiatura, and it's going to make the dance come together. So try the first two measures together, okay? Yeah, good. And you lost a little bit of the staccato. I know it's a lot to put together. No, that's fine. But I just want you to be aware of it, so that when you're practicing it slowly, you're listening for that too. Do you hear the difference already in the style of it? Yeah. And doesn't it just make you want to, at least for me, it makes you want to get up and dance. So that's a really, really good thing. And that's something that you'll find throughout the whole piece, and there's a lot of technical stuff that you'll be working through. Yeah. But when you take apart those phrases, find the pickups that drive you and that move the piece forward, that keep the dance-like quality, okay? And for sake of time, we're not going to be able to go into the rest of this. Okay, no, it's okay. But we can look at the last part of the piece that you said that you were doing at another time.
So I kind of started there and have been trying to work on memory. I get, I don't know if you noticed, every time I get to that part at the beginning and also here, I just for some reason struggle with the rolled chords. I don't know why. So I have a couple places where it's, I mean, it's still sketchy, but I've been working on that part because it's.
Do you try with the rolled chords? I just want to address that while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Practice them blocked first, and then instead of thinking of them, there's two ways to think about rolled chords, and it makes a big difference for me the way that I play them or in how easy they are. And if I think about them as arpeggios, then I'm thinking about each individual note. And even if I play it like a rolled chord, I'm thinking arpeggio, and then it's harder for me to jump from arpeggio to arpeggio.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you practice them as blocked chords and then just roll your hand. I can't set the right notes. That helps a lot, because then it's not up to your fingers. And that even changes the way that your hand moves, because here, when I'm thinking about it as an arpeggio, what happens to my wrist? Well, this is a bad angle. Scoot over so I can show you. Okay, so I'm thinking of that as an arpeggio. That's how my fingers will move, each individually. And then when I think as a chord, like I'm just going to play them at the same time, but I'm just going to roll my wrist. I can't get the notes right. It's a lot easier, because it's however many notes less to think about. So when you get to those roll chords, practice them as blocks first.
Yeah, it's just like I can't get there fast enough. I don't know. It just feels like no matter how many times I play them, like I don't know them. Like I can never find them, and you know.
Yeah. So do you practice them alone, like apart from them?
I didn't, especially when I was trying to memorize this. Like I kind of, you know, like I could memorize where they were, but it's still like I had to play it so like slowly. I don't know why it was just difficult for me. So.
Something that also helps is practicing them with different rhythms. In that one, that's a short enough passage that it's difficult to do that, but still, just practice going from one to the next. And then. And just do them so that your hand knows what to expect next, because that's really, that's where the muscle memory will come into play. So that's how I would practice those separately. Okay.
So then starting where the tempo, or the theme returns, I guess, is where it kind of is like the same thing, but just bigger, I guess. So.
Yeah, more technical stuff.
Yeah.
into that last chord. Do that last chord over there. Okay, this is what I see. A little bit of the shoulders raising, which makes your arms heavier or lighter. What would it do?
Lighter.
Lighter. So you want to keep your shoulders down,
Okay.
so that the weight of your arm is at your disposal, okay? Yep, but make sure that your shoulder is available to move. Yep, because if you lock it up down, then that's no better.
Oh, okay.
But if you go like this, yeah, there we go, and out too. Do a little chicken wing for me. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now you can use the weight of your arm, and you can push too, but you don't want to push with your shoulders. You don't want to push.
Okay,
You want to,
yeah.
and you can lean in with your body weight so that your arms hang heavier. But that way, you can get as much sound as the piano has. So try those last couple chords for me with the relaxed arm. Can you come up higher?
Oh, like
It's
in
difficult.
between?
Yep. Yeah. No, that's great, but you got a bigger sound. And keep your hands, this takes time and target practice is what I call it, because it's an insecure feeling to come too high off of the keyboard, because then you don't have, because our tendency is to want to stay there, okay, am I ready, and then play it, but then your hands are tight, then your shoulders are locked up. So if you can target practice, don't hurt yourself, but get used to hitting that chord falling, and that'll give you a lot of options with sound, and making your arms heavy and using that weight. Good. Okay.
The chords up there feel like kind of the same as that, like both of those sections when I was trying to memorize it, like I think I can kind of play the rest sort of from memory, but those two sections were bad for me. I don't know why.
How do you?
Because I don't feel like that's usually a big problem. I don't know, but
it's a weird configuration of chords because it's changing a lot. It's instead of changing once per beat, it's changing a lot during the measure. And so it's a lot to memorize, and give yourself time. But how do you practice this when you're on your own?
I think I took it, I'm trying to remember when because I actually ended up doing most of it memorizing in like one day, which probably wasn't very smart. But I think I just took it by section, and I knew the theme from the beginning, so this wasn't super hard for me to memorize, like whatever, that wasn't super difficult, but it was just the chords, so I think I just kind of played them over and over, and usually if I could get one hand with the chord, then I could find the other hand, that like went with it.
Yep.
So
I
just kind of did it over and over.
Okay.
So yeah.
Repetition, that's a great way to memorize. Something else I'd encourage you to do, and I know you've heard this before, and this is boring, but hands separately. It makes all the difference in the world, because like you said, sometimes I will find myself being able to memorize when the hands are together, but I can't separate them, which makes me vulnerable. Because if one hand messes up, then everything is messed up. And if I can't remember what my one key note is, then the whole chord is off.
Yeah.
So practice hands separately, especially in those really technical passages that you're already having trouble with memory. Don't let it become just muscle memory. Remember what your starting note is for that passage at least.
Okay.
And then practice hands separately so that you can play both hands memorized in those sections especially. It's good. I mean, I would love for you to have the whole piece memorized hands separately, but especially in those places where it's difficult to memorize the notes. And that'll help with your phrasing too, if you're listening to just one hand at a time, especially starting with the right hand and also getting the left hand in there. So we are out of time for today. So I leave you to practice hands separately in that passage and keep memorizing. And great work. And thank you for your excellent work, your work with me. You're a very quick learner, and I love how quickly you pick up on stuff. So good job.
Thank you.
See you later.